Welcome back to Rare Coin HQ, the place where hidden history meets eye-opening value. Today we're diving into coins you probably see every day, like the Kennedy $50 tucked away in a drawer, a coin book, or mixed in with your spare change. What looks ordinary could actually be extraordinary. Some of these coins aren't just currency, they're collector icons, historical treasures, and in rare cases, life-changing finds worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. So buckle up, because what you think is just loose change might actually be your next hidden treasure. Let's get started. First up, we take a closer look at the 1965 Kennedy $50 without a mint mark, a coin that may appear worn and ordinary at first glance, but actually comes from one of the most important transition periods in United States coin history. This coin, found today in circulated condition with visible wear and tear on its surface, carries both historical meaning and the potential for hidden value that collectors are always searching for. At first glance, this coin looks like it has seen years of use. The surface shows scratches, small nicks, and a dull, slightly gray appearance. The high points of the design, especially on President Kennedy's hair and cheek, are worn down and appear smooth. This kind of wear is typical for a coin that has been passed from hand to hand over many years. Most people would think it is just an old $50 with no special importance. But coins from 1965 tell a much deeper story. To understand why this coin matters, we need to go back to the early 1960s. The Kennedy $50 was first introduced in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The coin was created to honor his legacy, and it quickly became one of the most recognized coins in American history. The first 1964 coins were made with 90% silver, which made them valuable even beyond their face value. But by 1965 things changed. The rising cost of silver forced the United States Mint to reduce the amount of silver used in coins. The 1965 Kennedy $50 was part of this big transition. Instead of being 90% silver, it was made with a special composition that contained 40% silver. This makes the 1965 coin unique because it sits right in the middle of a major change in U.S. coin production. Another important detail is the missing mint mark. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins to prevent collectors from saving them in large numbers during a coin shortage. That means this coin, even though it may have been made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, does not show any mint mark at all. This adds a layer of mystery and makes identification more interesting for collectors. Looking at the design, the front of the coin features the strong and detailed portrait of President John F. Kennedy facing left. The word Liberty runs along the top edge, while I in God We Trust is split on both sides of his neck. The date 1965 appears just below. Even in circulated condition, the overall design remains clear, though the finer details are softened due to wear. On the back, the coin shows the presidential seal, a powerful image of an eagle holding an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. Above the eagle are stars forming a circle, and around the edge are the words United States of America and $50. In worn coins like this one, the eagle's feathers and other fine details may appear flattened, but the design is still easy to recognize. Now let's talk about the condition of this specific coin. Being circulated, it shows clear signs of use. The scratches and marks on the surface are normal for a coin that has been in circulation for a long time. The original shine is mostly gone, replaced by a more muted tone. However, even with this wear, the coin still holds its historical value and remains an important piece for collectors. What makes the 1965 Kennedy $50 especially interesting is the possibility of rare errors and high-quality examples. During this transition year, the minting process was under pressure, and mistakes could happen. Some coins may show doubling in the letters or numbers, while others might have slight misalignments or unusual strike qualities. These small differences can greatly increase a coin's value. Collectors also look for coins that have been well preserved despite being from 1965. A coin with fewer scratches, stronger details, and better overall appearance can stand out significantly. Even though many of these coins were heavily used, finding one in better condition is always exciting. Now here is the part that surprises many people. While most 1965 Kennedy $50 are common, rare examples with strong details, unique errors, or exceptional preservation have reached values of over $120,000 in the collector market. These high prices are driven by rarity, demand, and the historical importance of the coin. It shows how something that once circulated as everyday money can become a valuable collectible over time. This coin is a perfect example of how history, design, and condition all come together in the world of coin collecting. It reminds us that even coins with visible wear and tear can hold hidden value and importance. The 1965 Kennedy half-dollar is not just a piece of currency, it is a symbol of a changing time in American history. If you ever come across one of these coins, take a moment to examine it closely. Look at the details, check the surface, and think about where it might have been over the years. Even a worn coin like this could have a story to tell, and in some cases, it might be worth far more than you expect. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is not just about finding perfect, shiny coins. Sometimes, the most worn and ordinary-looking pieces are the ones that carry the greatest surprises. Next up, we take a closer look at the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, a coin that may look simple and worn at first, but actually comes from a very important time in U.S. coin history. This coin is in circulated good condition, showing clear signs of use along with some scratches across the surface, giving it that familiar look of a coin that has spent years moving from one hand to another. At first glance, this 1967 half-dollar shows we're on the high points of the design. President Kennedy's hair, cheek, and jawline appear softer and less detailed than they once were. The surface has small scratches, marks, and a slightly dull tone, which is normal for a circulated coin. Most people might not think twice about a coin like this, but collectors know that coins from the mid-1960s hold a deeper story. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic death. The coin quickly became a symbol of respect, unity, and national pride. By 1967, the United States Mint was still dealing with coin shortages and rising silver prices, which created a unique situation in coin production. Just like in 1965 and 1966, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar was made without a mint mark. This was done on purpose to stop people from collecting and saving coins during a time when the country needed more coins in circulation. So even though this coin has no mint mark, it could have been made at different mint locations, adding a bit of mystery to its origin. Another important detail about the 1967 coin is its metal content. Unlike modern half-dollars, this coin still contains 40% silver. This makes it part of a special group of coins produced during the transition away from the older 90% silver coins of 1964. Because of this, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is not just a regular coin, it is part of a changing era in American coinage. Looking at the design, the front of the coin shows the well-known portrait of President Kennedy facing left. The word liberty runs along the top, and I in God we trust is split on both sides of his neck. The date 1967 appears below. Even in circulated condition, these features are still easy to see, though the fine details are worn down. On the back, the coin displays the presidential seal, featuring a strong eagle holding arrows and an olive branch. This design represents both strength and peace. Around the edge, you will see the words United States of America and half-dollar. In this circulated coin, the eagle's feathers and other small details are not as sharp, but the overall design is still clear and recognizable. Now let's talk about the condition more closely. This coin is described as being in good circulated condition, which means it has been used for many years. The scratches on the surface, sometimes called stretches or marks, are signs of contact with other coins and objects over time. The coin has lost its original shine and now has a more muted, slightly gray appearance. Even with this wear, the coin still holds its structure and design. For collectors, condition is important, but it is not everything. What really makes coins like this exciting is the possibility of rare varieties or errors. During the 1960s, the minting process was not as advanced as it is today, and mistakes could happen. Some coins may show doubling in the letters or numbers, while others might have slight misalignments or unusual textures. Collectors also pay attention to how well the coin was struck. Even in circulated condition, a coin with stronger details and fewer marks can stand out. These small differences can make a big impact when it comes to value and collector interest. Now here is the part that surprises many people. While most 1967 Kennedy half dollars are common, certain rare examples, especially those with unique errors or exceptional details, have reached values of over $130,000 in the collector market. These high prices are driven by rarity, condition, and the historical importance of the coin. This coin is a perfect reminder that even something that looks worn and ordinary can hold real value. It connects us to a time when the United States was going through changes in its coin system, and every coin produced during that period became part of that story. If you ever find a 1967 Kennedy half dollar, don't ignore it. Take a closer look at the details, check the surface, and see if anything stands out. Even with scratches and wear, the coin could still have something special hidden within it. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not always about shiny, perfect coins. Sometimes, the real treasures are the ones that show their age, carrying history, mystery, and the chance of unexpected value. Next up, the 1973 Kennedy half dollar coin without a mint mark, and this coin feels like a quiet traveler from the past. It does not have a flashy look or a special design like the bicentennial coins, but it carries something just as important: years of everyday use and a steady connection to American life in the early 1970s. When you first pick up this coin, you can tell it has been around for a while. The surface is not bright or shiny anymore. Instead, it shows a soft gray color with a slightly dull finish. This is what we expect from a coin in circulated average condition. It has been used, passed around, and handled many times over the years. Now take a closer look at the front side. You will see the portrait of John F. Kennedy. His face is still clear, but the details are not as sharp as they once were. The hair above his forehead looks a bit flat, and the cheek area has lost some of its original shape. This is a natural result of circulation, where the highest points of the design were down first. The word Liberty is still visible along the top edge, though some letters may look slightly thinner. In God We Trust can also be seen below the portrait, but like the rest of the design, it shows light wear. The date 1973 is clear, which is very important for collectors. Now here is something to notice. There is no mint mark on this coin. That tells us it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, since coins from that location often did not carry a mint mark during that time. This small detail helps collectors identify the origin of the coin. Now turn the coin over to the back side. You will see the eagle design, which has been a strong symbol on U.S. coins for many years. The eagle is holding arrows and an olive branch, showing both strength and peace. On this coin, the eagle is still easy to recognize, but the fine details are softer. The feathers are not as sharp, and some of the smaller lines are worn down. This is normal for a coin in average circulated condition. The words United States of America and half dollar are clearly visible around the edges. The phrase E pluribus unum appears above the eagle, though it may look slightly worn. If you run your finger along the edge of the coin, you will feel the ridges. They are still there, but not as sharp as on a new coin. Over time, these ridges wear down as the coin is used again and again. Now let's talk more about the condition. This coin is not heavily worn, but it is also not close to mint condition. It sits somewhere in the middle. The design is still clear, but the sharpness is gone. There are small scratches and marks across the surface, which come from years of contact with other coins and objects. The color is even across most of the coin, with some slightly darker areas. This shows natural aging and exposure to the environment. At this point, many people might think this is just a normal old coin with no special value. But collectors know that even coins like this can still be interesting. One reason is the possibility of mint errors. Even though this coin looks simple, it could still have small features that make it unique. For example, collectors look for doubling in the letters or numbers. This can make parts of the design look slightly thicker or show a shadow effect. There can also be die cracks, which appear as thin raised lines on the coin. These happen when the metal die used to make the coin begins to wear out. Another thing to check is a weak strike. This happens when the coin was not struck with enough pressure, causing some parts of the design to look softer than others. There can also be slight misalignments, where the design is not perfectly centered. Even a small difference can make a coin more interesting. Now think about the life of this coin. It was made in 1973 and sent out into circulation. It may have been used in stores, given as change, or saved in jars. Over the years, it moved through many hands. It picked up small marks, lost its shine, and slowly became what it is today. Each scratch and worn area tells part of that story. This coin has been part of everyday life, not kept safe or hidden away. This is what gives it character. It may not be perfect, but it is real. And for many collectors, that matters more than anything else. In today's coin market, people are starting to look more closely at coins like this. They are not just looking for perfect coins, but also for coins with history and possible rare features. Now here comes the interesting part. Even though this coin is in average circulated condition, it can still reach a high value if it has the right characteristics. If this coin shows a rare mint error, strong remaining detail, or unique features, it can reach values between $80,000 and $140,000 when carefully examined and confirmed by experts. That kind of value does not come from the coin being perfect. It comes from rarity and collector demand. There are many normal coins, but only a few with something truly different. This is why collectors take their time. They study every detail, looking for small features that others might miss. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is a great example of how a simple coin can hold more than it seems. It carries history, shows years of use, and may even hide something rare. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are small pieces of history that can be held in your hand. They remind us of the past and connect us to everyday life from another time. So the next time you see a coin like this, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. Check the date, the design, and the small details. Because sometimes, even a simple and worn coin can turn out to be something much more valuable than it first appears. Next up, the 1976 Bicentennial Kennedy half dollar coin with a D mint mark. And this coin feels like a small celebration that has slowly faded with time. It was made during a very special moment in American history, when the country was marking 200 years of independence. Even though this particular coin is heavily circulated and worn, it still carries that proud feeling from the past. When you first look at the coin, you can tell right away that it has been used a lot. The surface is not bright anymore. Instead, it has a dull gray tone with darker areas spread across it. There are scratches, small marks, and signs of wear everywhere. This is what happens when a coin moves through many hands over many years. Now take a closer look at the front side. You will see the portrait of John F. Kennedy. His face is still easy to recognize, but the details are much softer now. The hair has lost its sharp lines and the cheek area looks smooth. This flattening is a clear sign of heavy circulation. The word Liberty is still visible at the top, though some letters may look worn. In God We Trust is also there, but it may not stand out strongly because of the wear. One interesting thing about this coin is the date. Instead of a single year, it shows 1776 to 1976. This dual date was used to celebrate the bicentennial, making this coin different from regular half dollars. Now look just below the portrait and you will find the D mint mark. This tells us the coin was made at the Denver Mint. Even on a worn coin, this small letter is usually still visible if you look carefully. Now turn the coin over to the back side, and this is where the design becomes truly special. Instead of the usual eagle design, this coin features Independence Hall. This building is very important in American history because it is where the Declaration of Independence was debated and signed. Even in heavily circulated condition, you can still see the shape of the building. The lines are not sharp anymore and many of the small details are worn down, but the design is still clear enough to recognize. The words United States of America and half dollar are still readable around the edges. The phrase E pluribus unum appears above the building, though it may look faint because of wear. Now let's talk about the condition more closely. This coin is heavily circulated, which means it has been used for a long time. The high points of the design are worn smooth, and the surface shows many marks from contact with other coins and objects. The edges of the coin are also worn. The ridges are not as sharp as they once were. This is another sign of long-term use. You may also notice areas where the color looks uneven. Some parts may appear darker or slightly discolored. This can happen from exposure to air, moisture, or dirt over time. At this point, many people might think this coin is just an old, worn piece with no real value. But this is where things get interesting. Even heavily circulated coins can still be valuable, especially when they come from a special year like 1976. The bicentennial coins were made in large numbers, but certain features can make some examples stand out. Collectors often look for mint errors. One possible feature is doubling, where the letters or numbers appear slightly thick or have a shadow effect. Even on a worn coin, this can sometimes still be seen. Another feature is die cracks. These show up as thin raised lines on the coin and happen when the metal die begins to crack from heavy use. There can also be off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly aligned. Even a small shift can make a coin more interesting. Some coins may also show a weak strike, where certain parts of the design were not fully formed. This can create uneven detail across the coin. Now think about the journey of this coin. It was made in 1976 during a time of celebration. People were proud of the country's 200-year history, and coins like this were part of that moment. After it was made, this coin went into circulation. It may have been used in stores, saved in jars, or passed from person to person. Over time, it picked up wear, lost its shine, and became what it is today. Every scratch and worn area tells part of that story. This coin has lived a real life, and that is something collectors appreciate. In today's coin market, bicentennial coins are still very popular. People like them because of their unique design and historical meaning. Now here comes the surprising part. Even though this coin is heavily worn, it can still reach a high value if it has the right features. If this coin shows a rare mint error, strong remaining design, or unique characteristics, it can reach values between $85,000 and $160,000 when carefully checked and confirmed by experts. That kind of value does not come from the coin being perfect. It comes from rarity and collector demand. There are many normal coins, but only a few with something truly different. This is why collectors take their time. They look closely at every detail, searching for small features that others might miss. The 1976 bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark is a great example of how a coin can carry both history and hidden potential. It celebrates an important moment in time while also showing years of real use. For collectors, coins like this are more than just money. They are pieces of history that can be held in your hand. They connect the past to the present in a simple but powerful way. So the next time you see a coin like this, take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, and the design. Because sometimes, even a worn-out coin from a special year can turn out to be something much more valuable than it seems.